All right, everyone, my name is Shani Jones, and this is KNKY, which stands for Know the New Kinky You. I'm your resident certified sex coach, and we are here to talk about sex during the COVID-19 pandemic, which is a global pandemic. And I know that, as I appreciate all of you, and I know that there are people that are not just in the United States that have tuned into this channel. So I appreciate you, and I hope everyone is being safe. I hope everyone is following the guidelines of the CDC or your regional Center for Disease Control, the equivalent of, washing your hands and keeping your hands out of your face and social distancing and all that other stuff. What happens? Because in my day job, this is my real job. I feel like this is my real job, my day job. The first 2 weeks that I was home, because this is week 3, the first 2 weeks that I was home, we were only allowed to partially telework. And that partial telework meant that because schools were closed, I had to stay home to take care of my daughter, which means I had to take my personal leave in order to be off of work. I had no problem with that. I was concerned because not everybody had that capability to be able to use leave to take off of work. I was like, shit. Well, if this thing goes long term, how do people deal with it? What are they going to do? And there are so many impacts to this pandemic that you just really don't think. People have bills that they have to pay. They got food that they have to buy. They got children that they have to take care of. There's a lot of shit going on. And it's hard. And for a lot of people, sex is probably the last thing that you're thinking about. But if you are quarantined in the house with your partner, you're probably spending more time together than you have in a very long time. Like you got the kids at home, your partner's at home, and it's like, what? I'm not gonna say it. WTF? Like, quality time is something that is meant to bring people closer together, which it does. Quarantine, stuck together, like no break time. You can't leave the house unless it's an emergency type of situation. It's like, it could drive you crazy if you let it. You want to believe that the person that you are quarantined with is that person that is there with you and is there for you. So you don't want to abuse or neglect the fact that you have this time together. Again, I mentioned in the first video that there are those of us that are alone. We don't have anybody to be quarantined with, and there are others of us who have family that live in the same household, and so it's okay for us to touch and be close because everywhere else in the world we are being told to stay 6 feet apart. I made a joke, which wasn't really a joke, but I was like, I'm gonna just buy a bunch of yardsticks, put 2 of them together, tape it together, and like put it around myself and be like, stay 6 feet away from me, because I don't want to expose my family. I don't. So you're at home. You don't have to leave unless you have to go buy groceries or there's something, or, if you're practicing social distancing, you can leave. You can do things outside the house, but again, be safe. So when you're in the house together for extended periods of time, there are things that you need to remember. It's okay to social distance in the house. You don't have to be in each other's face every second of every minute. You don't have to. If your living space allows for separate spaces and separate times, go for it. There is nothing that says that you have to be in each other's faces at all times. But this is also a time to remember that that person that's in the house with you is someone that you love and someone that you care about and someone that you have positioned yourself to be quarantined with. And there is a lot of opportunity in that. You can go and, be flirtatious and, find different ways to engage with each other. Again, sex is a component of intimacy. Try being intimate with each other. Cook each other dinner. Play family games. Do stuff to engage and be closer to each other so that you're not just stuck. I would hate to be stuck. If you are in a position where you are quarantined together, be thankful, be appreciative, be understanding of the fact that you could be alone. And you could be alone in the house for months, weeks, months. I hope that years just be just completely ridiculous if it was years, but there are ways that you can relearn to appreciate each other. Sex is one of those ways. You can start from scratch in a way. That's what is in my head. You start from scratch. There's like, okay, you spent so many months, weeks, years together, depending on your situation. And you probably hit a routine, something that you're used to, things that you know. Okay, start over. Learn each other. Find a way to create something new. You have the time. You don't have all of the extracurricular activities that you have to do. Make those activities, make that time for each other. It's important. There are a lot of couples who stop being intimate. And if you watched me before, intimate doesn't mean sex. Intimate means being close. Intimate means finding ways to relate to each other, and hopefully that closeness can turn into something more physical, which is the sex part. Try flirting with each other. Try in my head, I'm like being nice to each other, being sweet, kissing, touching, appreciate the things that you do for each other that you would probably take for granted otherwise. This is a time where you are aware that it could be different, that you could be by yourself. So quarantine together, okay? Make the best of it. There are things you could do. You can clean the house. You can do stuff that was on the honey-do list that you probably should have or could have done a long time ago, but there's also making time for each other. There's also making time for the family. There's also relearning each other, because no matter how long you've been together, people change, people grow together. This is a good time to do it. So hopefully being quarantined together means that you will go onto my Instagram and look at all of the different positions that I've posted and perhaps try some of those and comment on those posts. Let me know how you like them. Comment on the video. Tell me if they worked for you. I mean, these are suggestions of ways that you can kind of get creative, especially if that is something that typically didn't happen in the household before. You know, you have time, you have opportunity, you have a chance to rebuild and regrow if that is something that wasn't predominant in your life before. If it was, I expect a lot of babies in by this time next year. A lot of babies. So we'll see how the census count, because the census is on my mailbox saying I gotta get to it. So if you haven't done that, do that too. All right, y'all. I'm Shani Jones. This is KNKY, which stands for Know the New Kinky You. I'm your certified sex coach, resident certified sex coach, and you can follow me across all social media at DOYOUKNKY. I will talk to you again soon.